Hello, this is Dan with Rivals Round preview for Super League Round 8 Easter weekend. Before I get started, I'd just like to say thank you to people that subscribed and watched any of the content so far. There's going to be plenty more to come from all ranges of rugby league and combat sports mainly. The site and the channel is going to be called NicheSportz. I'm going to be working closely with a lad called Jordan from Hull, who's an absolutely massive Hull FC fan. He's studying journalism, or going to be studying journalism at university. So he's coming on this journey with me so we can create some content with fans, players, coaches, fighters, you name it, we're bringing it. So thank you very much. If you like our stuff, please subscribe. It only takes a second, one click. Really appreciate it while we're trying to grow our channel. Like I said, it's Rivals Round this weekend in Super League. It's derby weekend across the whole of Rugby League, including Championship and League One as well. We'll touch on the two best games from those leagues shortly. Tonight, first up, Super League, we have Castleford versus Wakefield at Castleford and Menderhose Jungle. I'm sure the fans will make it bounce, and it's always notorious, the atmosphere there. Especially at Easter weekend. Wakefield really need some points on the board. They really need a win. Could tonight be that night? I'm not too keen on Wakefield tonight. I think Castleford home crowd on Sky, in front of the Sky cameras. I think they'll get the job done. Tomorrow we have Wigan versus Saints, which I will be attending. Cracking derby. If any of the previous years are anything to go by, we're in for a treat tomorrow. Over 23,000 tickets sold. That is absolutely massive. I'm going to touch on the attendances slightly later in the video for across Rugby League. My prediction for those two games, like I said, I think the first one will be Castleford. I think they'll edge that by 10 points. Maybe more if they find the feet on the night, and Wakefield don't have a reply, as they haven't for the last few weeks. Wigan and Saints, I'm gonna go by Wigan by 6 tomorrow, just for the fact that they've got the extra bit of momentum. I know they've got one or two people out, but just the fact that they've got that extra bit of momentum from last week against Lee. Wigan by 6 for that one. Lee versus Salford. Even though Lee got beat last week, I thought they still gave a good account of themselves. They were just outrun by the much better, quicker, faster, stronger Wigan side. So for that one, I'm going to go Lee by 10. Salford always surprised me though. I think Brodie Croft's been magnificent since he signed. I know they've got one or two players out at the minute, but I'm going to go for Lee for that one. I don't know why, something's just telling me Lee. Go with your gut instinct. Hull derby and Catalans Wire on the Saturday as well. Top two, Catalans versus Warrington. That's going to be some treat in Perpignan. Warrington are running right at the minute. When I spoke to Darryl Powell last week, he said he wanted to be able to strangle teams by the throat. I think that's starting to come to light now, come to fruition properly. They've only conceded 6 points in the last two games, and in my opinion, Hull were quite fortunate for that in the second half, the Brad Dwyer try, because Warrington took the foot off the gas. They didn't need to run themselves right, knowing that they're going to France a week later. They didn't need to run themselves right when it was 28-0 up at the half. So they sort of allowed Hull back into the game a bit more last week. So for that one, I think I'm going to have to lean towards Warrington, but I did tip Wigan to beat Catalans at the DW Stadium a couple of weeks ago, and I was wrong about that. So never write Catalans off. They've got some serious firepower, some great dummy halves, great attacking edges, as a lot of teams have in Super League. But Catalans are second for a reason. They've been there or thereabouts for the last couple of years for a reason. So it's going to be a close contest. But yeah, I'm just edging Wire. Just. The Hull derby. FC haven't been on great form. They really need a win after the first two wins of the season in the first 2 games. Been on a bit of a downward spiral since then. When I spoke to Tony Smith last week, he says there's always positives, the ruck speed's good, etc, etc. There's going to be some new faces, he says, in the team this weekend, so that'll be good. The City of Hull love their rugby. They've sold over 20,000 tickets. Well, if correct me if I'm wrong, anybody in the comments, I think it might be a sellout or near enough to being a sellout, which is absolutely fantastic. That's going to be bouncing on the weekend. I can't wait for that. I really can't wait for that one either. And we have Leeds Rhinos versus the Huddersfield Giants to finish on Sunday. Leeds and Huddersfield, I don't think either of them have found the feet yet. Lots of changes at lots of clubs, especially these two. I think Ian Watson had a good win last week at Salford with his side. Leeds picked up a great win against Catalans in front of the Channel 4 cameras the week before last. So we know that they can pull it out of the bag against any side. Doesn't mean if the top, bottom, anywhere in the table. So for that one, I'm going to lean towards Huddersfield just slightly. And in the other leagues, I've picked out the top two, what I feel is the top two fixtures. We have the Cumbrian Derby, Barrow versus Whitehaven. We've got 12th versus 13th in the championship table. Both sides could really do with a win. Please don't give us a draw. Both sides could really do with a win. I love it up in Cumbria. I think it's a real rugby league hotspot that's never really been capitalised on. It hasn't. I've seen suggestions over the recent weeks that all teams should join and combine. Absolute BS. I've seen what it does for them towns individually. Even if rugby league goes down to the route where it's segregated leagues and you know your place, so to speak. Them towns will never die with the rugby league, and it won't work. It absolutely won't work. Putting Barrow, Whitehaven, and Walkington together, it won't work. It'd be like suggesting Rochdale, Oldham, and Swinton together. Wouldn't work. No Rochdale fan, no Oldham fan, and certainly no Swinton fan would swing for that. But interestingly, IMG have put some things in place this week, which if you've got any thoughts on that, rugby league fans, please into the comments. Any suggestions? What do you think it's going to do for rugby league over the next 12 months? They seem to chop and change their mind a lot, but when they've solidified the decisions, what are you guys hoping from our great sport? With League One, the best fixture, the best derby fixture there, in my opinion, is the Manchester Derby, or Greater Manchester Derby. Oldham versus Rochdale. Oldham have had a good start, 2 from 2, just been taken over. Stuart Littler's a good coach. It didn't work out as Swinton. It's a results business. It didn't work out as Swinton. He was given plenty of time. Last season, I think they was finding their feet. I mean, I know how difficult it was with bringing players in, no money. A lot of young lads, a lot of outgoings, but they still managed to reach the playoffs. Just Rochdale, they fell short last season. They've got some backing under Andy Maisie and co. So that should be a tasty game. That's on the Friday night. I think that's the last game on the Friday night, and that's at Oldham. I'm just going to edge Oldham by that, just because I think 2 from 2. Rochdale have had 2 losses. Oldham have got that feel-good factor about them at the minute. And the fans will create an atmosphere there on Friday night. So it's going to be interesting to see. The results come Sunday evening, which me and the RL blogger will be doing a round 8 review of the derby fixtures, the Easter weekend, cover any other major talking points, and in the future we're looking to get fans engaged more and more. So if they would like to come onto the channel, add to the debate their opinions, then please just hit us up in the comments. It's really appreciated. the more interaction, the better for us. Like I said, we're trying to grow it naturally. We don't want to be them people that, well, we're definitely not going to be them people that go out and buy viewers and buy subscribers, and it's not authentic. We want people to feel the realness of what we're doing,